I've got big news. Ridglan Farms is closing. Take that in. Ridglan Farms is ending its operation. When I was last at Ridglan Farms to pick up dogs, employees signaled that was the direction. But then on June 4th, our attorney, Joseph Good, based in Wisconsin, talked to Eric McLeod, Ridglan's attorney, and he said the following, quote, "I am assisting my client in winding down its operation," end quote. That is extraordinary news, and I wanted to pass it on to you and to so many millions of Americans who have been awaiting this incredible news. Let me review the timeline that brought us here. Last October, the Center for Humane Economy joined a coalition with Dane for Dogs, PETA, the Simple Heart, Rise for Animals, and others to convince a court-appointed special prosecutor to take action against Ridglan Farms. Later that month, Special Prosecutor Tim Grunke and Ridglan Farms reached a plea agreement requiring the facility to surrender its commercial dog breeding and seller's license by July 1, 2026, in lieu of facing criminal animal cruelty charges. In February, the Center for Humane Economy opened a private discussion with counsel for Ridglan Farms about acquiring its dogs, with our group recognizing that the company's business model was no longer viable and there was an opportunity to get the dogs before they sold them to contract labs and universities in a fire sale. In March, Wayne Shung led a protest at Ridglan Farms, attracting advocates from Wisconsin and all across the U.S. The scale of the protest was quite extraordinary. In April, Big Dog Ranch Rescue entered the private discussions we initiated with Ridglan about taking the dogs. As those discussions proceeded, Wayne Shung led an even larger, higher-profile protest at Ridglan Farms, attracting enormous attention to the issue. In the waning days of April, the Center for Humane Economy and BDRR signed a confidential agreement with Ridglan Farms to purchase 1,500 dogs. BDRR took certain dogs, and we, with the assistance of Beagle Freedom Project, the Wisconsin Puppy Mill Project, Dane County Humane Society, rescued the rest. On June 1st, with so many people rightly asking about the remaining dogs, the Center for Humane Economy and BDRR purchased another 135 dogs. On June 2nd, 2026, Ridglan's counsel reached out to the center's attorney and proposed a sale of the remaining 475 dogs. 325 now and 150 later this summer, dogs who are part of an existing testing protocol by Ridglan. It appears now that BDRR is now going to take these dogs, perhaps because it offered more money for them than we did. But in terms of Ridglan and its commercial sale of dogs, end of July should be it. And all I can say to that is hallelujah. This is so extraordinary. 2,100 dogs moved from Ridglan into safe hands. Not to put a damper on this in any way, but I want to be clear, the government reported in the last complete year with the data that it has, 42,000 dogs were used in invasive, painful testing in the United States, plus 107,000 primates. So while Ridglan was an important battle, we have a much larger fight. We must pivot away from Ridglan and toward Marshall Bioresources, which has 10 times the number of dogs that Ridglan had. Our campaign must focus on the purchasers, whether it's Merck or some other pharmaceutical company. This use of dogs supplied by these breeding facilities must stop. Let me make one thing clear. Our campaign also must focus on the National Institutes of Health. The NIH, which is right behind me here, is the largest grant maker for biomedical research in the world. They spend billions of dollars funding research grants involving dogs, cats, primates. This has to stop, and we're looking forward to working with members of Congress from both sides of the aisle. And more broadly, the pharmaceutical industry must make the transition away from animal testing. When we passed the FDA Modernization Act 2.0 in 2022, we lifted the animal testing mandate for experimental drugs in the U.S. Now, with us poised to pass the FDA Modernization Act 3.0, there's no excuse for the pharma companies to continue to use these animals any longer. Animal testing is outdated and inhumane. We know this is the biggest explanation for the high price of drugs, for the slow delivery to market, for the lack of reliability of drugs, and the failure to generate cures for so many maladies and diseases that afflict the American public. We have a broken drug development system. This transition away from animal testing is going to liberate us. It's going to be such a boon for health in America. I am so excited that Ridglan Farms is closing out its operations. This has been a collaborative, cooperative campaign with so many organizations, so many millions of Americans who have participated. Thank you so much for caring.